Hello again, everybody, and welcome to King Arena for the final regular season home game of the 2002-2003 Wheaton Thunder men's basketball campaign. Nate Frank along with Steve Tunn. And Steve, we've got a big one tonight. In fact, there's been a lot of big games at King Arena over the years. There's been some very exciting losses, a few exciting wins, I should say, and a few excruciating losses, but rarely have we had a chance in all the great years recently to clinch a conference title on the home court. Tonight, we've got that opportunity.
Yeah, we do. And the interesting thing is that, you know, you look at this game and we're in first place and they're in last place. So you kind of look at it on paper and you're going, this should be an easy one. We can close this thing out. We can have a share of the conference championship. But then you look at it also, and Carroll just beat Augie by 20 points the other night. They upset Elmhurst a few nights before that. So this is a team that, yeah, they're in last place, but obviously they're playing kind of with nothing to lose and upsetting a lot of people. So Coach Schauer just his kind of goal tonight is that, hey, let's come out, let's be ready to play, let's pick it up. We have a chance for the conference to tie the conference championship tonight, and kind of let's get after it.
Now, and Mike's been around Wheaton basketball since the late 80s. He knows how rare these opportunities are. He's looking for a great game out of his team. We'll come back here to the booth in just a second, but let's pause now as we get prepared for our national anthem. We'll turn it over to public address announcer Tim Martin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wheaton College basketball. Tonight we have your Wheaton College Thunder going up against the Carroll University Pioneers. And now would everyone please rise for the playing of the national anthem. And now the starting lineups. First for the visitors from Carroll. At guard, a 6'2 sophomore out of Bartlett. That's number 4, Aaron Wofford. At guard, a 6'3 sophomore out of Spokane. That's 10, Kylo Simpson. At guard, a 6'2 senior out of Oak Forest. Number 11, Ethan Bolino. At guard, we have a 6'1 junior out of Milwaukee. That's number 20, Justin Steinecke. And at forward, a 6'7 junior out of Castle Rock. That's number 25, Paradiso Dante. The Pioneers are coached by Taylor Jansen, who's assisted by Michael Cameron and Devin Brevik. And now, Wheaton College fans, on your feet, the starting lineup for your Wheaton College Thunder. At guard, a 6'3 senior out of Fishers, number 2, Andrew Williams. At guard, a 5'11 grad student out of Thunder Ridge, number 13, Tyson Cruikshank. At guard, a 6'5 senior out of Portage, number 22, Eli Considine. At forward, a 6'7 grad student out of San Diego, number 23, T.J. Eskew. And at guard, a 6'4 junior out of Columbus, number 24, Nick Chavello. Wheaton College is coached by Mike Schauer, who's assisted by J.P. John Panner and Mr. Zach Kwong.
So there you have it, tonight's starting lineups. The last time the Thunder brought home a conference title, Steve, 2009. That was a much anticipated team. Kent Raymond was a senior, led a cast of well-established characters into that season with a freshman, Tim McCrary, who would go on to become an All-American. The expectations were high that season. This season, the Thunder came in with some new players, some new faces, graduated a lot of talent. A little different, but equally as satisfying to be at this point.
Yeah, it really is. And you look back, it just shows you how tough this conference is. There's been a lot of good teams that we've had here, and just to compete every year against these top teams and now have a chance to actually share the conference championship or win it outright.
So we'll tip it off at center court for the Thunder is Eli Considine. He'll be jumping off against Paradiso Dante. Tom Warwick, the official, will throw it up, and we're underway. Ball goes out of bounds. Considine tipped it, and Carroll will control. Be interesting to see the energy Wheaton comes out with. A big game, but yet a small midweek crowd could sometimes be a little slow coming out of the gate.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of those games that you have to kind of bring your own energy tonight. You have to have the bench has to be into it. The guys have to be in it. You have to have a great start.
So Carroll into it. It's Balinal triggering. Wofford, top of the key. He swings it over to Simpson. Deflected out of bounds by Williams. Carroll will retain possession. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Let's see what Carroll has to offer from an out-of-bounds set perspective. It's Justin Steinecke triggering it in to Wofford. Wofford crosses over twice, pulls up from the L, and hits over Chiavello. Pretty nice little pull. Didn't have much choice, though. Sometimes it's good to have no other choice but to jack it.
It really is. They just kind of cleared it out for him, let him go up top. Nice shot by him.
Askew finding Considine. Over to Askew again. Now here's Cruikshank. He crosses over. Looked like he was going to pull from the elbow. Instead, he'll fade away from the paint and convert.
Great
how
shot.
good has he been playing these last few weeks? In fact, how good has he been playing all season?
You kind of take it for granted sometimes, but those are tough shots that he puts in.
Dante swings it to Steinecke. He goes corner to Wofford. Wofford's cut off on the baseline by Chiavello. Good, stout Thunder defense has been their hallmark all year. Not a lot of easy shots against this Thunder team. Here's Balinal. He finds Dante, who made a good cut to the hoop, and he lays us in. 4-2 Carroll here in the early going. Wheaton's motion offense has continued to get sharper and sharper as the season has ticked on. Players seem to be getting very comfortable with themselves, and there's a good indication. Great little slip by Considine. He's found and he lays it in.
Great read there, just reading that he was coming over the screen up top, and he went back door on him.
Here's Wofford pulling from deep, top of key, and he hits. He's off to a good start. 7-4 is the score. We're almost 2 minutes in, and Cruikshank will trigger the offense coming back the other way. Cruikshank dumps it into Considine. Looks to have the advantage, but he'll go out to Askew. Looking for a little better matchup, now trying to exploit the single team in the paint. Double comes, kicks to Askew. Askew with a nice spin move middle and a beautiful kiss off the glass.
I tell you what, Wheaton does a good job. It's not bailout shots, but they have such good one-on-one players that they can take it to the hoop when the clock's running down.
And it really shows up in a lack of panic, even as that shot clock is winding down. You rarely see a force that doesn't at least look like it has a pretty good chance of going in.
Yep.
Steinecke kicks it to Simpson, near side. Simpson cut off by Considine, spins back middle, and Carroll looks to have a hot hand early on. Carroll yet to miss a field goal attempt. They're 4 for their first 4. Wheaton on the other end is in a similar position. They just haven't converted a 3 yet. They could tie it or cut it to 1 here. Here's Chiavello, good fake middle, comes back baseline, but he's cut off by Dante. Up top to Cruikshank, he'll pull. That one's going to be off to the right-hand side, and rebound controlled by Steinecke. They look to counter. Dante, top of the key. He finds Wofford. They're looking to get Wofford going, and Wofford's looking to take that chance. Good shot fake. He pulls and he hits. Interesting to see if Mike takes a little bit
You know what?
Breaking the action here.
I think that first shot kind of got him going, that he had to take the shot with the clock running down, and he is their leading scorer, but that is some tough shots that he's hitting right now.
There's Askew pulling. That one's long, but Andrew Williams, as he is so often, is Johnny on the spot. That ball gets knocked away, and the Thunder will retain possession. Now, the psychology of a shooter is interesting, isn't it? It takes very little to get him going, very little to throw him off, but when you get in that groove, it's hard to break it.
You're absolutely right. Just him hitting that first shot, I think has got him going.
Yeah, need to do something to break it. He hasn't shot many that have been uncontested. Good slip by Considine, and Wheaton continues to go blow for blow with the red-hot Pioneers out of the gate. Here's Dante, top of the key. There's Wofford. They've now got Chiavello on him. Oh, and another beautiful fake. That was Steineke. He got Williams in the air, waited for him to come down, and converted from about 10 feet in the middle of the paint.
And you know, it really isn't that bad a defense right now. The defense is okay. They're just hitting shots, honestly.
Well, and what you're seeing, the hotter Carroll gets, the more Wheaton's willing to bite on that shot fake. It becomes a real problem. Carroll's being patient and using it to great effect. From way downtown, that ball was tipped. Good defense by Considine. Williams out trying to counter. He's going to look to press it into the middle. Gets to the baseline, works and finds. Oh, a beautiful look to Chiavello. Really nice job by Williams. He looked like he was going to be stuck, but he found the cutting Chiavello, and Chiavello will shoot the three-point shot here.
You're right. That was a great job pushing up the court, and not only pushing up the court, but getting into the paint where two guys had to take him, and then he had the dish on the other side. It was a great pass.
Now, and what we've liked, we've talked about this before, Steve. Wheaton, with this veteran lineup, does such a good job of being aggressive and pushing, forcing the action, but is rarely out of control. That was another good example right there. So the three-point play by Chiavello cuts the Carroll lead to 2. Here's Wofford. Good hedge by Considine. Ball's kicked to Simpson. Over to Ballinau. Now back to Simpson. He's in the paint. Ball is tipped away. Really nice job by Nate Sock, who's getting some time more recently. Cruikshank pulls. That ball was disrupted. Not sure if it was tipped or not. I think that contest came out stronger than he thought it was going to.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to be wide open there. It might have been tipped a little bit, but that's a shot Tyson's going to take all the time and make a lot of them, so keep shooting it.
Yeah, no reason to get bashful early on, and the Thunder, while they've got to be a little disappointed with how hot Carroll has come out, they also have to feel like if we continue to play our defense, they can't stay hot forever. So here's Ballinau, over to Wofford. Wofford still feeling it and hitting from about 25 feet from the far side wing. Here comes Wheaton. That's Schneider's checked into the game. Back up top to Sock, cross court to Considine. Now in the corner to Chiavello. Here's Schneider's, who continues to impress as he gets more and more comfortable. Chiavello with the drive, but that shot is altered at the rim by Paradiso Dante, and he'll come to the bench along with Ballinau for the first Carroll subs of the half.
Tell you what, Carroll's playing with a lot of energy right now, especially on defensive end of the court. They are hustling, they're talking a lot, they're taking away a lot of the stuff that where we usually get easier shots.
Well, Steve, I can't recall whether you've said it on air as Sock converts from downtown or whether you said it before we went on the air, but a team that's well out of it has very little to be concerned about. They're playing very loose, playing very free, and it's how they've gotten a couple big wins here in recent weeks. I was eclipsed on that one. Looks like it was Simpson going to the hole. He misses the shot, but he's fouled as you see the replay. Got baseline on Sock. Sock tried to recover and may have fouled him. Either way, he's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
I think Coach Shower's doing a good job here. He's another sub. TJ's coming back in. I think this is important in a game like this with the energy kind of high. The speed of the game is going pretty quick. It's good to get a lot of guys in and keep your energy going on your side also.
So Ekahalo Simpson misses his first shot from the foul line. He's a 67% foul shooter on the year, so not bad, but not good on those. The problem is Wheaton gives up the tip out, and Carroll will reset. Here's Wofford going baseline, little stutter move, up short on that bank shot attempt. Askew rebounds, and before they can get out of the way, I think a frustration foul there by Wofford.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to see him miss one here, just to take him off, just get him off his. He's in such a rhythm right now that just to kind of make a tough shot. Every shot he takes right now, you got to make it a real tough shot.
And I misspoke on those foul shots. I was looking at Kobe Simpson's foul shooting percentage. Ekahalo is a 53% foul shooter, so those two misses, not particularly out of character for him. Schneiders gets us back into the offense. Cruikshank finds a seam, kicks it out. Might have had a little more room to go up with that layup than he thought. But we're back out top to Schneiders, and he patiently resets the offense. Here's Nate Sock working the near side wing. Chiavello, as we get down under 5 seconds on the shot clock, little hop step, cross court pass to Schneiders, who comes up short. But there's Sock, Johnny on the spot again with a good rebound, and Askew loses control, and out comes Carroll. Ball goes in the corner. That attempt is off the mark by Tyler Miller, and the Thunder will look to bring it back on the break. So the pace has quickened here a little bit, Steve, over the last minute or so as Askew gets in the paint, and we're tied at 16 with 12:50 left in the half. And with that, Taylor Jansen says, let's talk it over.
You know, that's a great job. Just kind of, the game is 16-16. When you think about it, I think Carroll's playing their best game that they can play at the moment. And maybe we haven't played the best. We've missed a few shots. But when you look at the scoreboard, it's 16-16. So we're actually in a pretty good spot right now moving forward in this half.
Well, it's what good teams have to learn to do, right? When you're sitting on the top of the conference against a team who's out at it, a team like Carroll can do one of two things. They can either mail it in, which this team clearly hasn't, or they can look for a signature win. They can look for some positive momentum heading into next season. So they're coming out, and as expected, they're throwing their best punch. Wheaton has taken that punch, and now it'll be interesting to see that we're back to a tie ball game. Who controls this next phase of the game?
Yeah, and I think it's important that we keep taking it to the hoop. Don't get complacent. Don't try to settle for threes. Keep taking it strong to the hoop as much as you can.
No question about it. Wheaton, not a bad three-point shooting team, 36%, but their best action is coming off of penetration and coming off of cuts toward the basket, and they're going to look to continue to do that as this one goes on. New into the game, number 34, Josh Hudgens. He's looking to post up Considine, but Considine does a good job of denying, and instead Tyler Miller looks to drive. Now he kicks it over to Evan Bland. Good little cut there to the hoop by Tyler Miller. Goes back up top, and that is Justin Gruber missing on the three. A lot of action. Carroll's played 10 players through this first 8 minutes of the game, which might be great for keeping them fresh, but it's certainly testing our ability to keep track of who's in the ballgame. Yeah.
Definitely got to keep the intensity up on the defensive end here, so they're going to start missing shots.
Tyler Miller kicks in the corner to Bland. That ball goes off of Bland. And to your point, you're going to see some chinks in the armor from this Carroll team, especially as they get past their top 5 or 6 guys.
Yeah, they are. And again, they came out great. We'll see what these subs can do at the moment. They'll probably keep them in for 2 or 3 minutes here and start bringing their starters back in, but we'll see how they do.
There's Sock up top to Considine. Now Williams over to Askew. Askew goes left, kicks back to Considine. Good feet set three. Comes up just a little bit short, but Andrew Williams with a great rebound. Tough miss on the putback, and now it's 5-on-4. Carroll the other way. Miller puts it on the floor. Hudgens shoots it. He's going to have a chance to convert the three-point play. Let's see who that foul was on. Looks like that one may go against Cruikshank.
I tell you what, Tyson gets some tough calls against him. A lot of times he's in position, he's standing straight up, his arms are straight up, but it still seems like he gets some bad calls against him.
That one looked far from egregious. Maybe worth making note that he's pretty much a shoe-in All-American and should probably get that call from time to time to go his way. Now here's Williams waiting for the offense. Good downstream by Cruikshank to freeze Askew in the middle. He spins back to the middle. Oh, and a wonderful shot fake and patient finish by number 23, Askew.
And I think you hit it right. He was, as tough as that shot is, he was really patient, made a good move, and then just took it to him.
Now here's Hudgens. He pivots out to the three-point area. Gruber kicks wide to Miller. Miller puts it on the bounce to the wing. Into Hudgens. Nice spin move around Sock. And a really adept finish on the far side, the weak side of the basket. So just like that, it's 21-18. Good timeout by Coach Jansen. Got his team settled, got these subs organized, and they've continued to press the attack. Speaking of pressing the attack, Askew looks to get into the lane. He loses it. Felt like he may have gotten jostled a bit. Back the other way is Steinecke, but that shot's altered by Sock, and a great breakout. Oh, and just got a little bit under the basket. Did Eli Considine, and the pace continues to go. That shot's off the mark by Gruber, and the Thunder try to control, but you almost had too many Thunder players fighting for the same rebound down there.
And I think you hit it right. The pace of this game is that there is a pace going on right now. Yeah, Carroll's not going to slow down. They're going to keep subbing, so we have to kind of just stay with them. Be patient. You have to still play fast, and you still have to look for breaks, but you got to be patient.
Yeah, we need to play at a fast pace that's our pace. I mean, we're in control offensively. We're not giving up odd man situations going the other way. And quality shots lead to two things. They lead to makes, and they lead to close-in rebounds, neither of which are easy to break off of. There's Wofford. Maybe lost a little bit of the hot hands. He's taking a breather. He's off the mark, and the Thunder once again pushing. Now Considine backs it out, tosses to Askew, top of the key, and the Wheaton are in their motion. Chiavello over to Considine, back to Chiavello, strong side wing to Miller. Askew, love how aggressive he's been. His pivot foot is getting a good workout tonight also as he pivots out of that, passes to Williams, and Williams is just off the mark long. Here comes Gruber back the other way. Gruber, top of key, over to Miller. Into Hudgens. He's looking to deal. Might have shuffled his pivot foot. It's going to come up a little short on that turnaround attempt. And Cruikshank picks it out of there and brings it back. Oh, goes right around his defender. Almost as if Evan Bland was standing still. Really good little stutter move by Cruikshank and taking advantage of a flat-footed defender.
And you're right. He had the high ball screen, but it was that kind of that stutter move that opened it up, and they didn't switch on it, so he had the lane to the hoop.
Fast-moving first half. We're under 9 minutes, 21-20. Carroll has the lead in what's been a really good, offensively minded half of basketball so far. There's Wofford between the legs to the middle. Oh, I think he picked up his pivot foot, but got away with it and almost made a circus shot off the backboard. Good defense by Chiavello. Here's Cruikshank continuing to be active. Now they go corner to Considine. Chiavello comes off the screen to the top of the key. He's going to pull. Didn't love that pull, but his defender was almost daring him to shoot it. 15 on the shot clock. Into Considine. He just bull rushes, but comes up just a little bit off. He absolutely ate up space there against his defender and couldn't finish what turned into a pretty easy layup attempt.
Right.
Here's Bland. Dumps it to the elbow and to Hudgens. Gruber comes off the little rub, and he's fouled before he gets the shot off by Williams.
I'll tell you what, for the pace of this game and all the action, you know, there's not a lot of fouling going on. Both teams are playing pretty good D. Both teams are helping out when they need to help out. And so far, it's just been an even-fought game.
Now, and very little that you said, oh, that was missed. If anything, there were a couple fouls called on both ends. We might have even questioned a little bit.
Yep.
That's the way you like to see these games played. It's fast-paced. It's mostly action. Very little of what we're seeing here with people at the scorer's table meandering back and forth. And again, I think a cleanly played game always favors the better team.
Yeah, it really does.
Miller triggers it in. Dumps it in. That's number 41, Jacob Neighbor, fresh off the pine with a really good, strong power step down, spin back to the middle. And the Carroll lead is extended to 3 again. We've kind of hovered at Carroll leading by between 1 and 3. Wheaton's been able to tie it up, but hasn't been able to get over the top. A little run here to close out the half would certainly remedy that. There's Schneiders to Askew. Askew kicks it out, just making good decision after good decision. Oh, and Andrew Williams, hard luck, got to the paint. Another good look, just came up a little bit off. Here's Wofford. He's been aggressive through the early going. That's Eka Halo Simpson. Back in to Neighbor. Neighbor operating at the elbow. Great defense by Schneiders. Almost had the steal in the break. Instead tips it to Wofford. He pulls and airmails it long off the far side of the backboard.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the last 4 shots Watford had taken have been tough.
Yeah.
Tough shots. Yeah. Guys in his face have made him take tough shots. Got to keep doing that.
Well, when that spell gets broken, it can get broken quickly.
Sure,
I think that's a little bit what we've seen. But he's also had to take hard shots, and that's to Wheaton's credit. Great spin move by Chiavello. That bucket's going to count, and he'll shoot to convert the 3-point play. So Chiavello has really picked his spots, but he's picked really good spots.
He really has. I mean, that was a great take to the basket. We've been saying you've got to keep – they are very aggressive on defense right now, so you've got to keep attacking the basket. If you get an easy kick out and you get an open 3, take it. But otherwise, keep attacking the basket. Something good's going to happen.
Well, and we're going to be able to up the quality of this broadcast, which if you're listening at home, you say, what else could happen? But Brent Marhank has just come over and set us up with live stats. So apparently some of the listeners at home were like, give these guys some help, and now we'll be able to give you stats as they happen. Chiavello misses the free throw, but still converted the 2. It's 23-22. Carroll leading, 6:22 left to play. Chiavello tipped it away, thought that ball might have gone off of Steineke, but Carroll will retain possession with 22 seconds on the shot clock.
And I think this, hopefully in the next 6 minutes and 21 seconds here, I think these teams, someone's going to make a little bit of a run. So hopefully we can get a little bit of a run, take that lead right before halftime.
There's Simpson, goes baseline, spins back middle, and finishes nicely against Sock. Feels like the move du jour today for both teams has been that baseline drive, spin back to the middle of the paint. I wouldn't be surprised if a dozen points has been scored between these two teams. Oh, good back cut by Sock, but he was covered. Now Schneider's little stutter step, gets to the middle, and he's fouled. Really nice little move. Wheaton continues to be aggressive, getting to the basket. So Schneider's to the line. He's looking for his first points of the night. That one sails off. Chance to cut the lead to 2 if he can convert this foul shot as Carroll continues to roll in fresh bodies. I think they've gone 11 deep at this point, if I'm not mistaken, and that may be 10 deep, but nonetheless, they're going to go a lot deeper than I think Coach Schauer's going to be comfortable, as he likes to keep that bench at 7, maybe 8.
And they're probably in the position to do it more. When you're 3-11 going in this, you're playing a lot more players. You're telling, hey, everybody who comes in the game, give me energy. Give me a lot, everything you have. So they're going to keep playing a lot of guys.
There's Dante. He ran out of real estate as Connor Braun did a good job in taking that penetration away. He kind of forced one up, and the Thunder come out. Cruikshank promptly goes to the rack on the right side, and again, it's a 1-point deficit for the Thunder. Here's Dante. He swings it over to Ballanau. Ballanau finds Neighbor with a good cut, but he couldn't handle it. And it creates an odd man break chance for the Thunder, which quickly dissipates, and Cruikshank will set the offense. Ball was tapped away by Ballanau. Good hustle by Connor Braun. Let's see if Wheaton can counter here in short order. Considine to the middle, kicks it to Braun, who's earned that shot with great hustle. Comes up just a little bit long on his first attempt of the evening. That's the shot you want, though. You had them. They were kind of scrambling because of the loose ball, and you want to try to get that wide open 3. Halo Simpson missed the shot. And it looks like either him or Neighbor committed the foul on the offensive rebound attempt. The Thunder will take over. And that one indeed is on Neighbor, his first. So under 5 minutes, the Thunder continue to trail by 1. Carroll 25, Wheaton 24, the 7th-ranked Thunder. If you're just joining us, have a chance to clinch at least a share of the CCIW title with a win tonight. So if you're sitting around the house, it's going to get more and more festive, more and more exciting as the night goes. Come on over to King Arena, still a handful of good seats available. There's Askew left alone, pulling and coming up short. Simpson out with it to Steineke. He goes middle, kicks it to Ballanau. Ballanau on the bounce, into Neighbor, goes back door. That's taken away, but he kicks, and Dante misses long, and out away is Schneider's, pushing, as has been the case all night, with intensity. Over to Askew. He had a shot if he wanted it, but opted for a better look. A lot of shot clock remaining. There's Askew. To Cruikshank. He pulls it short order and converts. I like that quick, decisive pull.
I love that one, too. He felt it right there. The guy was playing off just a little bit, and you just can't play off Tyson. But he was in rhythm. He felt it, took it right off the pass and hit it. That was a great shot.
So let me ask you this: as a guy who was only able to attempt 2 3-pointers my entire career, is a guy like Cruikshank receiving that ball and instinctually shooting it, or is he thinking as that ball's coming in, I've got a little space, I'm pulling it? How quick a decision is that?
I think, and again, I didn't even have the 3-point line, so
not to date you, but
and I passed the ball to everybody else.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's one of those things where you kind of have the feel. You kind of have the feel. The ball was on the other side of the court. It's being swung to you. You kind of know if you have that little bit of space where you can just catch it and shoot it. And I think right there you could tell that, hey, he felt it right away and was in rhythm and just put it up.
So classic situation here. The Thunder convert the 3, the Cruikshank 3, puts them up for the first time today. We've got 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the half. A pretty finite amount of time, but plenty of time for a team to put up a 10-2, 8-0 kind of run, which for either team could really dictate a lot about how this game goes into the half.
Yeah, and I think we can do it right here. I think we have the chance here to. We've kind of weathered the storm. They've kind of dictated the pace. They're pushing the ball up. The score's not real high, but the pace is going real fast. So hopefully we can get a few stops here and get up 8 or 9 at half.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, with 13 minutes left, it was like 16-16, and you're going, holy cow, we're on pace for a 40-something point half for both teams. That pace has chilled a little bit. Partially, Wheaton's continued to play good defense, and Carroll has cooled off. But you got to give Carroll credit. They've been good defensively on their end, and they haven't given Wheaton hardly any second chance opportunities, which is where Wheaton can make a living. Good cut by Bland. He goes around, takes the handoff, and finishes. We're tied at 27. So Carroll continues to be more than pesky and refuses to go away in this one. Here's Williams. Cruikshank coming off the baseline screen. Thought about pulling, now trying to dump it into Chiavello. That's covered.
Pass.
What a beautiful little, I know where my teammate's going look to find Williams. He made that pass before the cut happened.
That's an awesome pass right there. And it just shows you that these guys have been playing well together. Just to kind of read that. You have to anticipate that one way before it happens.
Well, and the level of trust required, because if he doesn't cut, as Cruikshank fully expect him to do, Cruikshank throws that ball out of bounds to a ghost. And instead they turn it into a beautiful conversion to go back up 2. That's Hudgens. He kicks across to Steineke, and before the block shot, we'll get the shot clock violation. The Thunder are energized right now. I think both ends and the quality of play are feeding the other end. It's been fun to watch how they've hung in there and fought off the early Carroll drive. Williams getting him set. He's going to get a ball screen from Considine. Not much there, but coming off the down screen is Cruikshank. He deals and looks to go right back to the same page of music he found Williams on, but Considine couldn't handle it. Well defended by Carroll, and here they come. That ball almost gets away. Pass intended for Hudgens ends up in the hands of Bland. Bland feeds it into Dante. Another spin move and good use of the glass.
Yeah, every time we have a chance to get it up 4 or 5 points, they bring it right back and we got a tie game again.
Well, and they're not making wide open layups. They're running good offense and executing quality shots. There's Chiavello. Had a little room. That ball comes short off the glass, right into Considine's hands. And there's Cruikshank. That one short, bounces off the backboard. And it's Gruber bringing it into the front court. There's Steineke going middle. Will he spin back? Everybody loves that spin back move. Over to Dante, cut off baseline, but continues to bull his way down. Pretty good defense, but Dante kept taking up slack and found himself in position to convert the layup.
Tell you what, that's just a strong move. I mean, Eli plays great defense. He's done it all year on bigger guys than him. And that was good defense right there. It was just a strong move to the hoop.
Oh, Cruikshank, good penetration. Threw it up in traffic, comes just off the back iron. And then we're now under a minute. Carroll looking to extend their 2-point lead. Over to Bland. He goes middle, finds a seam, and that shot's altered by Askew. Heard a whistle. Looks like it's just out of bounds. I don't think a foul was called.
Great block by TJ right there.
Great help defense. 19 seconds on the shot clock, difference of about 31 seconds. So a chance here for Carroll to go 2 for 1, which would all but ensure them taking nothing worse than a tie into the intermission. We're going to get an offensive foul as Paradiso tried to go back into his bag of tricks with that bull rush, but ended up committing the offensive foul.
I think they're talking about it right now. Hopefully they'll stay with it. I think it was a great call. Hopefully they'll stay with it here.
Well, since we're talking about lines on the court, in the old days before they drew that arc under the basket, that's an automatic charge. Current day, if he's in that arc, inside of it, he can't take the charge.
And they actually do a good job talking about it to make sure, so that was good.
So now Wheaton, with a 13-second differential, tries to get a quick one. That ball is kicked by Wofford, and Wheaton will inbounds. 23 seconds, 13-second differential. I don't think they'll try to force one. No point in rushing this. Get a good look, try to tie it up, play defense, and go in knowing that you've weathered the storm. Kind of a silly fall by Bland, although Coach Jansen thought Cruikshank stepped out. That's the 8th team foul, and Cruikshank will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1. Fouls are 8 to 3, but again, it hasn't felt like a lopsidedly officiated game in any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all. I mean, we're playing good D. They're actually playing very good D too. So it's a physical game. It's like you said, the pace is going very quickly. So I think they're letting them play enough, but I think they're doing a great job calling the fouls.
So that brings the lead to 31-30. Carroll can play for the last shot, barely. There's about a half a second differential, but essentially they're going to have a chance to take the last shot. There's Ekahalo Simpson. He's back over to Hudgens. Hudgens back to Simpson. Simpson turns the corner on Askew. Askew not able to turn it, but disrupts the shot enough. Considine needs to get it up. Just didn't have quite enough awareness of what was on the shot clock. So, after a very exciting, brisk-paced first half, the Thunder go into the locker room down 130-130. How are you feeling right now, Steve, if you're the Thunder?
I tell you what, we're the pace of the game that they're playing with, and obviously they're playing, like they have nothing to lose, obviously. They're playing hard. They're subbing guys. They're getting up and down the court. Again, you look at it on paper, and it's a game where you should be winning, but then you look at the way they're playing and how they played the last couple games. You're not going to be happy being down 1, but you're also not going to be disappointed, too. You can make some adjustments here at halftime and come out strong in the second half.
Well, in my mind, this is not one of those games where Coach Schauer goes into the locker room and goes, what are you guys doing out there? It's not been a poorly played game. It's more where he goes, listen, I told you guys this was going to be a tough game. Now it's time for us to prove why we're the number 7 team in the country. So stick around on the Wheaton Sports Network. We're going to send it back to the studio, and we will come back with exciting second half action right after this.
I think one of the fun things about deciding where to go to college is that all of your peers are in kind of the same place. Remember, other people have done this, other people have gone before me and will come after me and are going through it with me now, but it's not as isolating as it may feel. I didn't really know what I was looking for at first. It started with me just scrolling through website after website of colleges. I knew I wanted something that was medium-sized. I knew that I wanted a strong natural sciences department, I knew that I wanted to be challenged academically inside the classroom, but I also didn't want life to stop in the classroom. I'm grateful that I was able to visit as many schools as I did. A large part of my decision to attend Wheaton was influenced by my campus visit. What instantly stood out to me was that everyone on campus was smiling. I felt welcomed, I felt appreciated, seen, and wanted. And so the application process itself was really joy-filled. The decision process was quite a different story. I got the decisions and acceptances and rejections back, and rejections stung. I became very stressed. I started to question, do I want to keep going to school? Do I want to go far? Do I want to come closer to home? And that's where I really started to ask, okay, what are the options remaining before me? And Wheaton was again at the top. I started to work with Ellen, my admissions counselor. I just worked with her really closely and had several hour-long phone calls, just talking through what does a Wheaton education look like? What is the value of a Wheaton education? And got to have personal conversations and interactions. So even during a time that was really stressful, I felt valued and seen as a whole person rather than just a GPA and test scores.
Neuroscience is the study of probably the most unique organ on the planet, the human brain. What does it mean to be a human person? And then what does it mean to live the good life as a result of understanding that? Where a vast majority of the work is right now is helping cure neurodegenerative disease. Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and our National Institute of Health has been pouring money into trying to understand these diseases. There is a lot of hope for discovery that can really impact somebody's life. It's very easy for an undergraduate student to get involved in research. One of my more recent grads is working with one of the top spinal surgeons in the country, and because of his experience doing research here, he was able to just work his way right into that lab. A majority of my students go on to med school, but I had a physics student who is working for Tesla. We've had philosophy students, and we've had folks from the Bible and theology department come in and really press us hard to be precise about how we're talking about what it means to be a human person. A student in our conservatory here took one of my classes and did a project on the neuroscience of music therapy, and this whole world was opened up. She had a passion for both music and science, and she was able to combine them in a way that she just hadn't seen possible before being here. Any student that is just curious about themselves and the way that they work is going to be really well positioned to study the brain. Faith and science can coexist really well. The unique thing about coming to Wheaton to study neuroscience is the integrative nature of it. You are going to learn about how your brain works and how the cells work and how the neural circuits work, but we won't stop there. We will also teach you about your spirit and your soul and how that might interact with your brain to make you who you are. And so I hope that we're putting students out into the world that can answer the big neuroscientific questions, but then can also challenge their colleagues and their audiences to think deeper and to think more carefully about what it means to be a human person.
When you're looking at colleges, you may look at the sticker price and say to yourself, I'm not applying to that school because I can't afford it. And I would caution you to not close any doors because there is this price tag that is just out of reach. Cost is an important factor, but there's so many other factors to consider. At Wheaton College, we offer academic scholarships as well as Wheaton Grant, which is need-based aid from the college. So a student may receive scholarships in the range of $10,000 to full tuition. They may also receive significant Wheaton Grant based on need, and we determine that, like most institutions do, based on the information that is found on the free application for federal student aid. Colleges aren't commodities. They're not all the same. And there'll be value questions that you have to ask along the way. There's value in knowing that Wheaton alumni have done very well across the board. That we have students from 50 states and over 160-year history, there's value in that. But I also think there's value in the fact that you will be with a group of peers who are excellent in their academic endeavors, but also who love Jesus Christ. You are not just a student who is performing well in the classroom, but that you are a person that has great potential to serve God's kingdom. You're going to be challenged to grow in your faith because you want to be tested and you want to understand what your theological non-negotiables are. So think about the community you're going to be a part of and how they're going to engage you. We want to challenge you to think about why you believe what you believe by people who will encourage you and motivate you. This is an investment that has strong return, not just for you in terms of career, but for you as a follower of Jesus Christ who will be called to great things. Let us work closely with your family. Let us find out more. We work with great expectation and with hope. We do not want to give up on your calling to be at Wheaton College.
Wheaton College Summer Institute is basically this 2-week event in which students from all over the world can participate. It does a very good job of integrating education, social life, and spiritual life into a very safe environment.
There's so many course offerings, from Shakespeare to music to visual arts to theology.
Each student picks a class and they really hone in on a specific subject.
And we're kind of getting like a foretaste of the college experience.
So we're sleeping in the dorms and we eat in saga. It's the full experience, but only for a 2-week period.
And they give college credit. Like, when looking at whether or not to do this, I was like, there's no downside.
You know, the schedule is incredible.
I've spent a lot of time in class, about 4 hours a day, but also a lot of time hanging out.
Then we're going for ice cream and we're going into Wheaton.
You enjoy it, you have fun, you get to meet new people.
And what I like about it a lot is that the people are so accepting. The people that will just take you as you are and won't criticize you or judge you.
The relationships I've built with people here have been really valuable.
Here, I'm always with someone, I'm always talking, I'm always having a great time, I'm always learning.
And at the same time, building that community with these people who are so different. With people from Colombia and Mexico and Texas and North Carolina. But we can all, find that kind of center of what we all believe and build relationships from that.
Wheaton College Summer Institute is a place where you will grow in your faith, meet very extraordinary people, and learn something you're passionate about.
It has the potential to be so formative that there's no way you shouldn't do it.
Someone who is insatiably curious will thrive in a Christian liberal arts environment. Being a Christian liberal arts student causes you to expect to encounter God and expect to encounter dialogue with other disciplines. I think it creates a posture of wonder, and that's just a great thing for every aspect of life. I was in Calc 1, and my professor was having us read through Romans 12 in Calc 1. And it really invited me to see God at work and to prepare my heart, even in those first few minutes of class, to recognize and say, God is here, and do I have eyes to see him? And do I have eyes to see the way that he's at work? They don't say that any discipline is off limits from God, or that God is off limits from any discipline. Wheaton really does prime you to be a very well-rounded student that's able to think about questions from many different angles, and not just provide a cookie-cutter answer, but really engage with content in a deep and meaningful and intentional way. I got one-on-one time with professors, and they not only cared about my studies, but they also cared about my spiritual well-being and about how I was doing personally. The opportunity to have professors that are spiritual mentors and have PhDs in Old Testament or quantum mechanics or poverty and international relations is amazing. And you get the opportunity to interact with so many other students of different disciplines that all love Jesus and want to love and worship him in what they do. And that's amazing too. And I love Wheaton. Wheaton invited me to dig deep into both the scientific learning I was doing and dig deep into my faith. I have grown in my ability to offer all of myself to the practice that I'm doing as an act of worship. That's what the Christian liberal arts can help form in you, is to do everything to the glory of God.
And welcome back to King Arena. We're about to get the second half of action underway. Carroll took a 31-30 lead into half. Really interesting half, Steve. Carroll came out on fire. Looked like Wheaton took their best punch. He was going to turn it back around, but Carroll continued to hang in there. As you look at the stats from the first half, as you think about what transpired, what comes to mind? What are the observations you have as we get ready to kick this thing off for the second half?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they did come out on fire. They were making shots at the beginning. We were playing good D, and I think it's like you said, we took their best punch. This is a very good team. This is not a weak team. I kept thinking there was a chance a couple times where we were going to take that 4, 6, 7-point lead, and we weren't able to do it. I think we're going to have a lot of those type of chances here in the second half. Hopefully we can extend it. I think once we extend a little bit of a lead and get them down a little bit, they're going to press a little.
Yeah, we really haven't put Carroll under duress yet, and that's to their credit. They've kept us from putting them under duress. But, we've had a couple turnovers, couple missed shots where we could have tied it up and then extended it. Weren't able to do so. So here we go. Second half of action underway. Conference title, at least a share of the conference title, on the line with a Wheaton win or a North Park loss. The combination of both of those things would give Wheaton the outright title. But first things first, they need to take care of business in the second half. Here's Wheaton, good slip by Chiavello. Nice recovery, though, by Dantes. He swats that one away, and Wofford pulls it out. Picked up an interesting fact at halftime. Aaron Wofford, who led Carroll with 10 points in the first half, is the younger cousin of former Wheaton Thunder player Nate Serranius. So Nate said he showed up with a score tied at 16-16, and I was amused to tell him he'd missed his cousin going off for the first 10 points of the half and looking unstoppable. So, here's to hoping he doesn't recapture that same magic here in the second half. Now to Askew, he shoots a high arcing jumper and finds nothing but net. That one looked a little bit higher than normal, but the result was one we're familiar with, and Wheaton back in front, 33-31.
Yeah, it really did, and it's good to hit that first three. I think we were 2 for 12 in the first half for threes, and like you said, it's contagious, so hopefully we can get the threes going.
And a little bit of a tough call as Evan Bland goes baseline, got tangled up in Williams' feet, and Andrew will pick up his second foul, first of this half. We'll see if Carroll continues with the deep bench. They played 10 guys in the first half. Wheaton extended their bench fairly well, too, to 8 guys. But we'll see if those benches tighten up a little bit as this game tightens up. Askew out away, yet another rebound for him. He had 5 rebounds in the first half, to go with 6 points, an assist, and a block shot. So filling up the stat box pretty well, and he'll go to the line now with a chance to continue to fill up that box score. That foul was on Paradiso Dante, his third, which is critical. He's been a pretty solid force to reckon with in the painted area on both ends of the floor.
He really has, and they kind of go through everything through their bigs up at the elbow or up top, and he does a good job of setting screens up top and playing defense.
So 2 foul shots by Askew give Wheaton its largest lead of the evening, 35-31. And everybody on pins and needles to see what happens here in this first 5 minutes. So critical for setting the tone for the rest of the game. Wheaton with another steal. Here comes Askew looking to extend, kicks it. Beautiful look for Considine. Airmails it long, and Chiavello can't save it. So good defensive series turns into a really good look, and we've talked about this before, Steve. Probably a little too good a look on the break for Considine. Almost one where you go, should I be taking it this early in the shot clock?
Right, he was in rhythm, but again, it's just one of those shots are wide open. It's a great shot to take on the break right there. So hopefully we can just start knocking those down.
My mentality was I'd at least like to have a viable excuse to why I missed this shot I'm about to take. I doubt he has the same pathetic shooting attitude, but that's at least the way I always saw it. Wofford turning and hitting, so he likes these first 5 minutes of halves apparently. That's Serenius' young cousin picking up where he left off early in the first half. Carroll cuts the lead to 2. Wheaton comes back. Here's Considine, far side wing. Up top to Askew. One dribble, kicks to Chiavello, and Chiavello hits. Really good offense there. Patience by Askew turned into a wide open look for Chiavello.
You know, and right there, we've taken 3 threes, and now we're 2 for 3. We're 2 for 12 in the first half. Again, if we can start knocking down some of these threes right here, good patience by TJ right here. Attempts to drive, nice kick out. And again, Nick got that in rhythm too. You can tell he was in rhythm when he shot it.
Well, and a big part of rhythm is the quality of the pass. He was expecting it because Wheaton's team does such a good job of sharing it. But then B, the ball comes right to the shooter's pocket. The difference of having to maneuver that back to the pocket before you shoot it versus catching it at the numbers and shooting it, pretty sizable. So really good work there by Askew on that feed.
And you know, I was looking at stats here. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Wheaton's stats, I think 7 or 8 of their guys have more assists than turnovers. That's almost unheard of. If you look at Carroll's side, I think they have 1 or 2 that have more assists than turnovers. So it just shows you that these guys trust each other and work well together.
Well, and you're playing an offense that, if you're playing it right, sets it up for assist opportunities. I mean, Wheaton certainly gets its share of points on the break, which obviously you could pick up assists there, but also off the dribble. But where they get a ton is on their crisp cutting, and they do such a good job of both the passer and the receiver anticipating that. So it's the mark of what we said was going to happen all year, which is Wheaton getting really comfortable in this motion offense. That was Steineke missing. That ball went in and out. Here come the Thunder. Oh, Askew driving hard. That ball got knocked away, but he got knocked down as Hudgens came over to contest the shot. So Wheaton getting good defense, getting good defensive rebounding, and continuing to be aggressive on the break. This has to be a situation where you're in Carroll's shoes, you're hanging on for dear life. You've already used a timeout. You feel Wheaton's confidence building every trip down. They need a good couple of scores here, or this game could get out of hand.
And I think it's been great by TJ the last 2 times that, you know what, it's been kind of a semi-break, not a full wide-open break, but he's taken it right to the hoop and he's gotten fouled twice.
So Askew converts the first, he'll shoot the second. While he's doing that, I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite nephews, Luke McAllister, listening in Colorado Springs. Hopefully going to get out in his driveway, shoot a couple jump shots after this one. But Luke, thanks for tuning in. Askew misses the second, 39-33, 16-39 left to play here in the ball game. Ekahalo Simpson uses that pivot foot, steps through, steps back under, and converts. He'll have a chance to convert the 3-point play here in just a second. While he goes to the line, also want to say hello to a former teammate of mine, Mark Snavely, listening with his family in the greater Cleveland area. Mark, would love to have you back on campus sometime. You can come and show these young kids how to perfect that tackle steal. But thanks for tuning in. We've got a good crowd. Always a good group of Wheaton alums, both former players and alumni fans tuning in. I'm sure tonight no different. With so much on the line, conference title hangs in the balance. Cruikshank puts it on the paint, kicks it to Askew. Another high arcing shot. Hit that one to start the half. That one comes up a little bit short. Cruikshank boxed out nicely by Bland. And a good opportunity here for Carroll to claw back in and cut this lead or tie it up. So it'll be Bland bringing it into the front court, guarded by Cruikshank. Swings it to Hudgens, now over to Simpson. Up top to Steineke. Now Hudgens. Carroll impressed with the crispness of their offense. They seem to be moving, whether with the ball or without the ball, with a lot of purpose, Steve.
They really are. They're moving it quick. They're attacking the basket. Again, tough shot. Every time we have a chance to go up 4, 5, 6, 7, they make a couple tough shots and bring it right back down to 2.
The difference, though, is as tough as the shots are, they're quality shots. You know, there's a difference between a bad tough shot and one like Simpson just made there, where you get in the paint and you score it. As Connor Braun misses a wide open 3 from the top of the key. And just as quickly as Wheaton got hot from downtown, they seem to have cooled off again. Here's Hudgens, handing off to Steineke. Steineke thought about pulling. Instead, he'll look to dump it in to Hudgens, guarded by Braun. Little shimmy. Good defense by Braun, forcing Hudgens to kick it out to Wofford. Wofford crosses over again, steps back. This would be a tough one, and it comes up a little bit short. Cruikshank there on the rebound. Cruikshank with a beautiful crossover. That's exactly what they needed.
Great take to the basket. That's tough to stop. I mean, the crossover and finishing up at the rim. 2 guys coming out and great shot.
So Wheaton leads by 3. You can tell on the Wheaton sideline, a lot of nervousness as Steineke hits it. We're tied again at 41. Mike Schauer continuing to sub, making changes, to keep his guys fresh, but I think looking just for a little bit more of a lockdown combo on the defensive side right here. Here's Braun. Into Chavella. Chavella wants to deal. He's going to wait for things to clear. Finds Considine. Now to Schneiders, who pulls from way downtown, a little bit short. And out comes Bland. Bland to Steineke. That ball was tipped as Cruikshank recovered beautifully. It was rebounded quickly by Bland, I believe, and he either got pushed out of bounds or that ball caromed off the Wheaton defender. Let's see what we've got here.
And you're right on the subbing, because obviously Carroll is used to this, or they've been doing it. They're playing 10, 11 guys. They're trying to keep the pace going. This is something where Coach Schauer has to keep subbing, but you have to be kept subbing for a purpose. You got to keep guys fresh, but you want to keep that continuity, too, that you don't lose.
Yeah, and a little bit you're looking for that hot hand, too, because Wheaton, one thing they can't be accused of is taking any bad shots. I mean, every look they've had, I would say, is 80% or above from a quality perspective. And they're just not quite finding the groove collectively. That ball goes down to Hudgens. He's double-teamed, kicks it across. Good ball movement by Carroll. Bland finds a seam, but has his pocket picked by Cruikshank. Cruikshank thought he had knocked it off his knee, but he knocked it out of bounds. And Carroll will have 3 seconds to shoot after the inbound.
That's where you got to watch the lob or the quick hitter coming off a double screen here.
Steineke had to pull quickly, comes up short, and what you don't want to do is give up the rebound. Hudgens pulls from 3 and it hits. That was exactly the worst case scenario. Wheaton forced a good shot deep in the shot clock, but couldn't control the rebound, and Hudgens converted. Carroll back up 3, Cruikshank to tie, and he hits. We've got a little bit of a shootout, and there's your favorite Mike Schauer timeout.
Big shot. Again, he got it in rhythm. And again, you and me don't know what that's like, but he got it in rhythm and shot it. But that's Tyson right there. Huge shot to tie it up. And again, we talked about this the last time. I think it's a great timeout.
Yeah.
Settle these guys down. Hey, slow it down a little bit. Give your guys a rest. Talk about the defensive possession you have right here. and make these guys really work to get a tough shot this time.
Yeah, it's been so fun. We've talked about this before too, Steve, watching Tyson's evolution over his career at Wheaton. First of all, he's one of those guys who seems like he's been here since before the three-point line. He's been around forever, right? Secondly, he's a guy that's always been a strong contributor, a very good player on some very good teams, but to watch him emerge as one of the best players in the country this year has been really enjoyable. And I know Thunder fans have enjoyed it, and he's a big reason for this team's success, because not only do you have a guy who's a scorer, but he's also your playmaker from the point guard position. It's a very tough balance to get people involved while you're also the primary scoring threat.
Yeah, it really is, and I think you hit it on the head right there. He is one of the best players in Division III.
No question.
But it's been a gradual, I don't want to say gradual process, but he's just kind of, he came in, I think, when Ashton was still here. He's been very good, but he's elevated his game every single year. Yeah, and it's not like he came out of nowhere, but it's a little bit like he continues to elevate it to levels you weren't sure were possible, and that's a really fun player to have the pleasure to watch. So now Carroll with the game tied. We're coming up on the 13-minute remaining mark. Into Hudgens, who's been good off the bench. Misses that one, gets his own rebound, and converts. So Hudgens, the 6'6 junior out of Burlington Central, making his mark here in the second half, putting Carroll back up 2. Here's Cruikshank, over to Considine. Eli pivots around, finds Andrew Williams, over to Askew at the elbow. Kick to Andrew, he looks to put it on the floor, trying to get to that spin. Here's the hook, and a beautiful job of keeping that away from the defense and finding the bucket. 46 all, we're tied again. It's kind of a Nate Frank kind of hesitation little hook right there. Yeah, a little more aesthetically pleasing, but not dissimilar. A little dissimilar in the result, as Simpson spins back middle, comes up long, and Askew rebounds. He's well on pace for a dozen rebounds this game. Cruikshank turns the corner, might have slid those feet, and indeed he did. Looked like a little bit of a snowplow stop there as opposed to a good jump stop, and he turns it over, which is too bad because he had drawn a lot of traffic. I think we're going to get a good look on the kick out. Yeah, I think so too. I think it was a good call right there. So Tyler Miller inbounds to Bland. Bland to Ekahelo Simpson. Simpson off the Miller screen, finds some room, and Wheaton got caught there a little bit. Askew didn't get over that screen and didn't get any help. As we see Eddie Scott check into the game for the first time tonight, he brings it into the front court. So let's see if some fresh legs and a fresh perspective can change things a little bit for the Thunder as they trail by 2 with 11:41 left. There's Williams from the corner. That ball hits the rim, goes off the shot clock, and Carroll will inbound. Yeah, it's good to see Eddie out there. Hopefully he can get us some energy right here. Defensive-wise, just defend his guy, get his hand in the passing lane, maybe get a couple steals here or deflections. Yep, definitely looking at him for some defensive spark. He's getting the minutes that Nate Sock got in the first half, and Sock played well. But Mike obviously looking for something a little bit different as Gruber spins baseline, runs out of real estate, comes back middle with a pretty good move, but Askew contested it and the shot was missed. Here's Eddie Scott coming middle. Oh, with a good look and almost finishes for the three-point play. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Again, I think that's the third time on a break here that we've taken it to the basket. TJ took it to the basket twice and got fouled. Now Eddie's taking it to the basket and got fouled, so good job on the break. Just being aggressive with it and not just settling for a pass outside. Well, and I'll tell you what, I can't say I've kept this stat, but as I think about it sort of anecdotally, I still don't think of a shot that Wheaton's forced tonight. So, things they've had stints in the game where shots have been falling. They've had stints where they haven't been falling, and they continue to take good shots. They continue to make the extra pass, but not too many extra passes. Usually when you're doing that, good things will happen. But this one's gotten stickier as we approach the halfway point of the second half than I think anybody anticipated. That's Gruber. Swings it to Bland. Bland turns the corner. That's the second time Wheaton's gotten beat on that screen. A little bit sloppy defensively, but they get the missed layup, and here comes Williams. I don't think Hudgens, or I should say, I don't think Miller meant to foul him, but that was a good foul away from the basket. And again, good job pushing up the floor, and good job by Williams just taking it to the hoop.
That's the fourth foul of the half for Carroll. Wheaton's committed 3. So once again, a pretty cleanly played half and a well-officiated game.
Go
ahead.
And sorry, you just can't get frustrated right now. You got to, hey, it's a tough game. You know you're in a tough game. Just keep grinding it out. Don't get frustrated. Just keep playing basketball.
And Wheaton's no stranger. They've been in some close contests all year long. They've come out, obviously stated with the 23 record, they've come out on top of most of them. Some have gone to the wire. I think of the game a couple weeks ago against Wesleyan, where it took some last-second heroics by Crookshank to win. But they've had plenty of games go to the wire. They're not at all rattled. As Askew gets to the paint, Hudgens altered the shot. Let's see if that one's going to be on Wofford, reaching in from behind, or on Hudgens. It's going to be Wofford. I don't think he needed to commit that foul. I think Hudgens had that shot to alter.
Yeah, I think so. 10-25 here. Carroll's already got 5 fouls, which is good for us. So we'll kind of see, keep it attacking. If we can get that bonus right away, it's going to be great.
Yeah, Wheaton has not been particularly crisp from the foul line as that one rattles around and goes in there. 6 of 12 for only 50%. That's well below their season average of 74, almost 74%, 73.9%. And they miss another one, so they continue to stay at 50%. If you look at one Achilles heel for them, it's probably been that charity stripe tonight. Here's Hudgens, kicking to Gruber. Gruber, once again, it's that little screen going towards the baseline that's caused them trouble on 3 of the last 4 or 5 possessions. Gonna have to get a better hedge on that, or commit the cardinal Wheaton sin of actually switching ball screens. But that thing has turned into 4 points, should have been 6 points. 3 very easy looks here on the recent possessions. Now here's Crookshank, shot clock ticking down to 5 seconds. Eddie Scott's gonna need to do something. It's gonna be Askew pulling for about 25. He's long on that, and there he is. How many times have we seen Andrew Williams do that, come in a very pesky way, dig that out of there. It's going to be interesting to see what we have here as Chiavello got pushed out of bounds, but he may have stepped out of bounds first. I think we're going to get the foul. We'll see what referee Tom Warwick calls, and it is going to be a foul on Hudgens, the 6th Carroll foul of the half.
And Nate, you were talking about down on our defensive end. They set ball screens all over the place. They set them on the side. They set them up top. A lot of times teams set them up top all the time or real high. These guys set them constantly, so it's tough to hedge all the time, and they're getting drives to the basket.
Well, you can only hedge so many times where somebody ends up out of position, unable to hedge. So you have to think about doing a number of different things. One, you can go under those screens and you leave yourself open for the pulled 3. I'm not sure that's a terrible idea. I mean, you're looking at a team that's only shooting a little over 30% on the year and just over 30% for the night. Or you've got to switch them. Because otherwise we're getting caught going over the top, sans hedge, and it's turning into absolute walks to the well. So Chiavello with a chance for another one here, and he misses it. Once again, this is becoming a significant issue for the Thunder as Chiavello converts just 1 of 2. So Thunder getting plenty of trips to the line. They've had 16 foul shots. They've only converted 8 of those. Now another steal by the Thunder. Out way is Askew to Considine. Williams trailing, looking to get in the paint. He's letting it clear, but doesn't have anything down low. So back out. Wheaton sets the offense. 20 to shoot. Williams, far side wing, far side corner to Considine, back to the wing, and Chiavello. He's putting his head down, getting to the paint, and once again, that shot's altered. So between Dante and Hudgens, it's been few and far between the clean looks Wheaton has had in the paint this second half. Looking to dump it into Dante. He's dealing on Williams, and Williams forces it kicked out to Steineke. Back up top to Gruber, he pulls, that one's gonna be short, and out of way with the rebound comes Chiavello. Chiavello, corner, Considine fakes, back to Chiavello. And he takes a pause and gets into the offense. Williams has it, going middle, spinning back baseline, a little bit out of control, but I think he's gonna get bailed out there. So we're gonna see it. Williams loves this move. Spins, And again, the foul definitely happened, but I'm not sure there was going to be much available for him after that spin. He was heading pretty quickly towards the out-of-bounds line.
I think he was, but you know what? He's so deceptive in his moves a lot of times, and the spin move and everything else he does going to the basket, he gets fouled a lot. So, again, Carroll's got 8 fouls already, so hopefully we can get to that double bonus pretty quick, which will be beneficial for us.
Williams makes the first to tie us at the half-century mark. He's a 79% foul shooter, kind of like any good Indiana kid is supposed to be. And he converts 2. That's the first time in a while we've gone 2 for 2 from the foul line. And the Wheaton lead is 1. Coming up on 8 minutes to play. If you're just joining us, a win here gives Wheaton at least a share of the 2022-2023 CCIW title. Would be their first since 2009. A win combined with a North Park loss, and they'd own the title outright. So a lot at stake here. As Wofford pulls, end is off. Pretty good look for him. He's been streaky. When he's been good, he's been hitting. And when he's been cold, he's had trouble finding the basket. Cruikshank kicks to Askew. Askew puts it on the floor, gets Ballinow, spins back, and it looks like Gruber reached in.
You know, it was a pretty simple play there, but Askew did a great job of just taking his time. He realized he had the smaller guy on him, waited till everybody cleared out a little bit, and then took him to the hoop.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, you're Carroll. You're playing a Wheaton team that's not a great three-point shooting team, but dominated the points in the paint in the first half with 20, and is getting most of their good stuff in the paint. Do you start to collapse a little bit more? Do you pick your poison? It's all right, Wheaton. You've been very streaky from downtown. Make us, we're going to make you prove it from down there. How do you think about that as a coach?
I think so. Right now, they've done a good job helping, but they haven't overcommitted. So I think they have to keep doing it. Right now, I'd keep doing the same thing and really force us to start really knocking down the threes in bunches.
So once again, Askew goes 1 of 2, extends the Wheaton lead to 52-50. The Thunder, if this one were to not go their way, they're going to look at that foul stripe with a lot of pretty deep and painful regrets. They're going to need to snap out of that down the stretch, especially given the fact that A, Carroll has 9 fouls, so almost everything that happens from now on is going to send you to the line, and B, if Carroll's trailing late, there's going to be some critical foul shots.
It's a good spot here where we need to increase that lead. Try to get that 7, 8, 9-point lead right here.
Dumping into Williams. He tries to deal on Wofford. That pass gets tipped away by Gruber. And Cruikshank pulls as the shot clock expires. He's up short, but the long rebound goes to Williams. Knifes back in, lets the traffic pass and finishes. Oh, Wheaton.
Old school move right there.
That was beautiful. It's okay. Let me spin. You guys go up. I'm going to knife through and lay it in. That was one where I feel like you went back in time a little bit.
A little bit. That was great.
So we've got the timeout called by Carroll, I believe. That's normally a spot you might see Mike call a timeout, but Carroll feeling like maybe they're lucky to be only 4 down, given the momentum that Wheaton has had, and looking to reel it back in. They've answered the bell, though, every time Wheaton's threatened to make a little bit of run and stretch this one out.
Yeah, they really have. And at this point, when you're a coach, you got 6 minutes and 39 seconds left. Now you start. Once a team gets on a little run or a little bit of momentum, you got to start thinking about your timeouts a little bit more, because you want to keep it at that 2, 3, 4 points. You don't want to let that thing all of a sudden get out of control and get up to 8 or 9.
No question about it. So if you're Coach Schauer, I think, hey, I don't know there's a lot of corrective activity here, right? You've given up 50 points through essentially 7/8 of the ball game, or closing in on that, certainly through 75% of the ball game, or just about. You're getting good looks. You're missing foul shots, and it's a little bit empty to say, hey, make foul shots, right? I mean, that's something you either do or you don't, and Wheaton's done it pretty darn well at a pretty good clip. I can't imagine there are many teams in Division III shooting better than 74%.
Right.
But that's really the corrective action here.
That's it, and you can't relax. You got to tell them at the timeout, hey, don't take a possession off. All these possessions now under 6 minutes are huge. So you got to stay focused, and you got to play through every possession.
And there's a sloppy turnover by Simpson as he looked to find Hudgens and threw it away. Chance for the Thunder to capitalize. Cruikshank pulls. Maybe a little bit of a quick shot. That's the first shot all night I would question. Not necessarily the one they needed that early in the shot clock out of the timeout. There's Wofford. He can't get the roll. And Cruikshank rebounds and comes out with it. Now here's Considine crossing over. That ball gets tipped away, but Cruikshank recovers. Over to Eli. Back to Williams. Williams to Askew. Finds Chiavello. He's got some room to shoot it, but opts to keep the offense running. We're down to 10 on the shot clock. Askew has that one knocked away. Simpson got a hand on it, but it goes out of bounds, and Wheaton will inbound with 7 on the clock.
But that's a good possession right there. Like you said, I think Tyson, it's not a bad shot for Tyson last possession. He can make that shot, but maybe a little too quick. Right here, you want to get 6, 7, 8 passes, get the ball moving, and see if you can get an easy one.
Especially given the fact that every time we've worked the ball, we've gotten a good shot. And on cue, great little inbounds play. Gets an easy baby hook for Askew. Wheaton up to 6. 56-50. 5:35 left in the ball game. Conference title aspirations very much in play here. That's Steineke crossing over, spinning back, coming up short on the hook, and another rebound for Cruikshank, who's been active on the glass. Does a little bit of everything. One of the things that makes him so valuable. Great cut by Chiavello, but that's cut off quickly by Miller. He'll look to keep it on the bounce, and he finds his way in. Can't get the first one, can't get the tip, but pulls out the rebound. Great second and third effort by Chiavello to keep the ball in Wheaton hands. And now here's Miller, 12 to shoot. Chiavello pulls, couldn't make the layup, couldn't make the tip try, but stayed with it and converted to 3. Funny game sometimes.
I think you just wanted to hit the 3 on that one.
Well, and that turned out to be beautiful. Wheaton took possession with about 5:30. We're now down to 4:50. Killed a ton of time and ended extending the lead by 3.
And I think Nick did the right thing too. When he had the ball down low, he took his time, went up. It was a great effort of getting that second shot and then kicking back out and then getting it back and taking an open 3. So again, this is what we needed. We needed that 9-point lead right now. Now we're putting a little bit of pressure on Carroll. Now they're in the last 3 or 4 shots that they've taken have been kind of tough. They've been short on a lot of them. So now you want to really dial up the D right here. Get that thing up. Now, hey, now we're at 9. Let's get that thing up to 10 or 12 or 13.
Well, and that's exactly right. You know, Carroll has had the luxury of playing their game on the offensive end because they've been playing mostly from ahead or from a possession or 2 behind. Now a couple things need to happen. Number 1, they need to quicken their pace. You don't want to work a lot of shot clocks down under 5 seconds. Number 2, you're going to need some threes at some point. And so, you know, Wheaton can now tailor a little bit of their defense around that. Come out, play aggressively, play in their face. You give them a 2, no problem. You don't want to send them to the foul line, but you know, Wheaton now dictates the pace on both ends the rest of the way if they're smart about it.
Yeah, you do, and this is when you tell your guys, hey, don't give them a second shot right now. Play great defense, but everybody go to the boards. Don't give them that second shot and give them a bailout possession just because you didn't get the board.
So here we go. 4:54 to play. Wheaton leading by 9. If they can maintain this lead, they're going to win at least a share of the CCIW tournament. We've said before, but I'll say it again because it's a great accomplishment. First time since 2009. It'll be Mike Shower's first CCIW championship of his career, and one that I know he will really cherish with this team, which I know he's had a fun time coaching. There's Wofford trying to find it again, pulling from the elbow, which is where he started his night, if you'll recall. That one's off. Thunder now bring it back. Chance to work this down to about 4 minutes if they're patient. There's Askew. Chiavello near side wing, back to Cruikshank. Cruikshank turns the corner on Simpson. Now to Askew, he kicks to Chiavello. Chiavello working on Wofford. He loves that spin back to the middle. And a little shuffling. I think he did.
I think so. It was quick. It was a good move, but it was quick.
We always used to call that the Fred Flintstone feat. You know, that's probably lost on 90% of our audience who's never seen an original Flintstones episode. But when you get his car started, he always got those quick feet before the car actually moved, and that was a little bit of what happened there. So now here's Wofford. Absolute, I'm not going to say desperation time for Carroll, but they need a bucket or 2 on these next couple of possessions. Here's Hudgens. Working on Considine, handing off to Miller. Miller hesitates, comes middle, steps through, and can't convert. And Carroll has gone very cold in these last 5 minutes.
And we'll give him that tough shot. You just don't want to give up that open 3 right now.
That's a shot you'll give him all day. I mean, he's got to step through. He's got to make it contested, you know, almost working vertically towards the baseline as opposed towards the hoop. That's a great shot to give him. Wheaton now in no hurry. Cruikshank comes middle. He'll kick to Askew. This would be a dagger, and it goes. Boy, that was a good possession. Just very simple. That's what we talked about. Wheaton can control the pace, and frankly, Carroll has to take some chances defensively. That turned into an easy look for Askew. Now here's the turnover. Williams doing what he does so often, diving on the floor. Steineke comes back with it. Shot clock did not reset as the possession didn't change. We're down to 10 to shoot. Here's Miller in the corner. He finds Hudgens. Hudgens will not hand off and get baseline. Oh, and he misses one, but it's followed up by Simpson to cut the lead to 10. 2:40 left to play. Again, not the worst possession. You ran 25 seconds off of it. You gave him a 2. Wheaton defending against the 3. That and bad fouls is all that can beat him right now.
And I like this. They're going to go right back to it. Work the clock down here. Do the high ball screen with Tyson and TJ. I think it's a great thing to do right here. Like you said, dictate the pace.
Steineke feeling like he's on an island. He gets help from Hudgens. Does a good job of switching. 3 to shoot, 2 to shoot. Considine drives in and converts. And Mike wants to talk it over as the lead goes back to 12.
2 very good possessions right there. Like I said, taking your time, working the clock down, doing that high ball screen so you have a set. Everybody knows what they want to have done. And the first time, they kind of double teamed on Tyson. He kicked it out to TJ, knocked it down. That time, kicked it out to Eli, and Eli had just to know it all to take it to the hoop right there, and he had time. It was a strong take to the hoop.
So if I'm sitting as Coach Jansen in the Carroll huddle right now, I'm thinking to myself, do I want to continue death by 1,000 cuts by this little, two-man game, Askew flat screen, or do I want to start putting the Thunder on the line? I'm not convinced that's not the best option if you really want to win this game.
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think they have to really try to get an open 3 right here. If I'm their coach, I'm saying, hey, well, I'm working something, dishing it, trying to get an open 3, crashing the boards. But if they don't hit it, or even if they do hit it, and you come down to the defensive end, I'd go double team or go do something. Try to get it out so you can't just depend on stopping that high ball screen with 6 seconds to go left in the clock.
You got to change the pace. You got to take Wheaton out of that. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Not that easy to deny Cruikshank. Also, not that easy to double team him. And if he slips a double team, somebody's probably dunking it. So again, this is exactly the lead and the run that Wheaton needed. They control the tempo. Good Wheaton smart defense will make a difference. Not necessarily the foul that you needed. I'm not necessarily sure there was a foul committed. But the fouls are 9-3. They're now 9-4. Carroll was probably due a trip to the line.
And again, you don't want to overcommit and help there, so you got to stay with them one-on-one. So yeah, it's not the foul you want, but it's not a foul that's really going to hurt you at this point.
So Simpson on the line, he'll shoot 2, converts the first. Be interesting to see if Carroll sets up some sort of a full court press to try to dictate tempo and keep it out of the devastating high screen set that Wheaton scored on the last 2 times. He makes them both. 64-54, the Wheaton lead is 10, under 2 minutes to play, and we do get a little full court pressure, but nothing all that oppressive. And here they come, look at a double team at the timeline. Wheaton slips out of that easily, and let's see if they look to get back into their formula of success. No, it'll be Williams going middle, smartly pulls it back out, and Wheaton taking time. Mike wanted the foul on Cruikshank, not going to get it. I don't think he minds since Wheaton retains possession. We're down to 9, here's the high screen. Cruikshank still working, gets in the middle. He's going to kick it out to Chabello. 3 to shoot. Oh, and the last, I don't think we got a foul. Did we get an injured player? We did. We did get a foul. It looks like it's on Bland. Boy, that's the last thing. Oh, it was actually on Wofford. That's the last thing you want to do with the shot clock down to 2 seconds. And Wheaton in a little bit of desperation mode to get a shot off.
And I tell you what, Eli did a great job last time when he got the ball late in the shot clock, and now Nick did a good job here too. When you get it, you don't want to hesitate. You know there's not a lot of time left in the clock, and they've both done a good job of just not hesitating and taking it right to the hoop.
So Chavella misses the front end. He'll shoot the second. And that one's off. So their free throw woes continue to hurt them. And if you're sitting anywhere in Wheaton blue and orange, you're happy this isn't a 2-point game given the Thunder's free throw challenges. Another foul, not one you wanted. Again, they're really working to prevent the 2. but you don't want to continue putting him on the line. That one doesn't hurt as much on the floor, so if you're going to foul, do it there. That's only Wheaton's 5th foul. Tough inbounds pass. Askew saves it, but back into the hands of Wofford. Wofford kicks it over to Dante. Dante's going to spin back and step through, and he converts. So just when you think we're about to get the ice out and put this one in the cooler, Dante will go to the line with a chance to cut the lead to 7. We're talking about a 3-possession, a pretty simple 3-possession game if and when he makes this. So the lead is 7. Carroll back in what I would call passive full court, but a little more aggressive half-court pressure. Cruikshank brings it over, no double team there. And we're down to a minute. 1 minute left to play in the game, and Cruikshank will go to the line as Bland commits the foul. Cruikshank, as you'd expect, very solid free throw shooter. He's been to the line over 115 times this season. Made the lion's share, though, shooting 75%. And he'll make the first one, no problem. At this point, Wheaton just needs to continue to defend, take care of the basketball, and make foul shots. Pretty simple formula at this point.
And a good timeout right here, too. Defend, don't give him a second shot. And like you said, play good defense. Make sure you get fouled and go to the line. Let's finish this thing off at the line.
So don't want to say anything prematurely, but in the event Wheaton does hang on here, you want to stick around. They will present the CCIW Champion Trophy, which has not graced the Wheaton Thunder men's basketball trophy case in 14 years. That 2009 team certainly brings back a lot of great memories for those of us who were around the team. I had the pleasure of being on the bench with that team in what was probably 4 of the most fun weeks of basketball King Arena has ever seen. We won the conference title, then came back the following week to a packed house, won the conference tournament against really, really tough Augustana and North Central teams, then hosted the next 3 rounds before losing in the Sweet 16 to a Wash U team that went on to win the national title. So here's hoping this is the beginning of another really enjoyable march here at King Arena. As
that should seal it right
That
there.
should seal it. Wofford turns it over. Doesn't look as though Carroll is going to foul, and Wheaton, barring something very unusual, is going to wrap this one up. Williams will pull it out with 10 seconds left. He's going to kick it across the Considine. Nope, gets fouled before the shot, and he'll go to the foul line. So at 32.2 seconds, it looks like the Pioneers are resigned to their fate, and the sparkling grape juice is on ice for the Thunder here at King Arena.
It's a tough game, but Wheaton's done this all year. Kind of had to grind a few out. You're never going to get an easy game in the CCIW. So some games you just got to keep grinding them out and playing tough defense. You don't realize how good a defense Wheaton plays all the time. They don't foul a lot. They play great defense, and they've really played well down the stretch of a lot of these games this year.
No question about it. You got to give Carroll credit as well. This is a young team, only 1 senior that got any kind of minutes. That was Balinal, but most of the guys getting major minutes tonight, freshmen and sophomores. So while this team is not going to be pleased, with their overall record and 3 wins in the CCIW, they've got to feel like the future is fairly bright up in Waukesha. For Wheaton, though, the future is now. They've got 22 seconds before they wrap this one up and wrap up the conference title. They've got 1 more game, and we don't yet know the outcome of the North Park Illinois Wesley game. If North Park loses that game, Wheaton's the outright champion. In the event North Park wins, Wheaton still controls its own destiny, going to Elmhurst next week for the regular season finale.
Right.
So Williams makes the second, extending the Wheaton lead to 13. They're going to sit back and just not allow anything easy, not foul. They'll let this ball, wow, they won't let it get laid in as Askew contesting to the very last, knocks it away, and Williams comes out of here. We're under 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Let's count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the Wheaton Thunder, ladies and gentlemen, are your 2022 2023 CCIW champs. Congratulations to Mike Schauer and what's been a really fun team to watch this season.
And like you said, congrats to the players, congrats to the coaches. I mean, basketball is a long season, and you just got to keep going and going and going. And this is not easy. We know this isn't easy. We haven't done it since 2000, what do we say, 8, 9? So it's a tough conference, but a great victory tonight. Way to grind it out. And at least we know we have a share of the conference championship right now.
Excellent. Well, Coach Schauer is going to come over before we do the trophy presentations. We won't get to keep him for as long, but we'll. No, actually, nope. Brett Marhanka, who, as everyone knows, wears the proverbial pants in Wheaton Athletics, comes over and preempts. We'll turn it over to Tim Martin for the presentation of the trophy.
Presentation of the 2023 CCIW Men's Basketball Trophy. At this time, we ask Wheaton's captains to step forward and receive the championship trophy. The Thunder have secured at least a share of the CCIW regular season title. Wheaton has a 21-3 overall record and is 13-2 in CCIW play. Congratulations to Wheaton College, the 2023 CCIW Men's Basketball Champions.
So as the team gathers for a photo, we'll get Coach Schauer over here. I'm sure he's going to have a few things to say after a hard-fought win to bring home at least a share of the title. Coach, congratulations. I mean, kind of a ho-hum accomplishment. These things are easy to come by, aren't they?
Yeah, I think you were with 2008-09, I think, right?
That's right.
This is the first one we've won in a long time, and I'll say a couple things before I get to this. One, kudos to Carroll, right? They've had a tough year in terms of wins and losses. This is the best they've played all year. To beat Elmhurst at home, they really pounded Augustana and then obviously gave us everything we wanted tonight. Nobody's asking me my opinion, but I think he deserves the job. In a difficult situation, they've played better as the year has progressed, and that's just a sign of a team that's pretty committed, and they're really young, so give them a lot of credit. Really proud of my team, to secure a share of the conference championship is no small accomplishment, but I'm going to say this. I have no interest in sharing it, right? If we beat Elmhurst, we can get to three things can happen when we play on Saturday. We can win it outright, which gives us, the home court for the playoffs. I think that would secure our NCAA tournament bid if we don't already have it, and it would probably secure a host. So we got a lot left to play for, but pretty proud of our guys. I mean, this is, now no matter what happens, it's a pretty good year.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and you're setting yourself up. You alluded to it. I mean, if you win on Saturday, you host the conference tournament. You probably host the first two rounds of the playoffs, and potentially beyond that. I mean, you're setting up for some pretty exciting action here at King Arena. How do you break this down into manageable chunks and keep a team from looking too far ahead?
Yeah, how's this for coach speak? What I've tried to do is I will mention all of this to them in the locker room, and then we're just going to try to really focus on trying to play to our standard. You could tell we hadn't played for a week, right? We were a little rusty. We were a little fatigued and gassed. We were out of rhythm, and it's always harder for us. This is not that it's unfair, but it's always harder for us to have the Saturday day off because we lose the Sunday as well. And so the rhythm of that week, where if you don't play Wednesday, it's kind of a normal rhythm once you come back. So it's always the Saturday is always a little harder for us. So just proud of our guys. This is kind of our league, though. There's no easy night. So the way I'm going to break it down is to tell them everything I just said, and then we're just going to try to focus on playing to our standard on Saturday. I got one other thing. Quiet goal I always have is to try to beat everybody in the league once. And if you do that, you're going to have a pretty good year. And we haven't done that to Elmhurst yet.
Awesome. Congrats, Mike. Way to go. Well, Steve, pretty fun night of action here. Probably saw a better game than most people expected, but the result was certainly one we expected and hoped for. The Thunder are your, at least, co-champions for 2023, but as you heard from Coach Schauer, a lot of work still ahead. Should be a pretty fun season finale on Saturday in Elmhurst.
Yeah, and just listening to the coach, I mean, what he said, again, you had a week off. He's right. You had a week off, and then you have to play a game like this with a team that is on a high and playing well, even though their record isn't well. So it's a tough game, and I thought we did a great job of handling it, just kind of fighting through it and grinding through it. And the important thing is we got the win at the end.
Got the win at the end, and there is a lot of good basketball coming up. I'd encourage you to get over to Elmhurst on Saturday if you have a chance, and then get back here for what will hopefully be a conference tournament action. And we'll send it back to Steve. I know you have one more comment.
Yeah, I got one more shout out. We got a little group of guys right behind me, and I have to give a shout out to the 1983, all my buddies on the basketball team, 1983, but I got to give a little shout out. Dave Helm is here. His dad was our coach that year. Tom Thornton, who was probably one of the best shooters around. We didn't have a three-point line back then. Brian Baird was one of our forwards back then, and George Bubba Garrison is here too, one of the shot blockers. And he said his last game he played was against Carroll. He had 20 rebounds against them.
There you go.
So there's some little bit of extra information.
No,
right there.
that's beautiful. So great tradition of basketball here, and some great basketball yet to come. Hope to see everybody in Elmhurst. Hope to see everybody here next week for what we hope will be hosting the CCIW tournament. In the meantime, for Steve Tunn, I'm Nate Frank. Hope you enjoyed this one. Until next time, so long, everybody.